Hello ladies and gentlemen, Nick here, and welcome to my review of Innocence, the a 2004 film, directed by Lucille Lovgoff. So, Innocence. This has got to be one of the most boring films I have ever seen, or at least in recent memory. Literally nothing happens. Okay, that's a bit of an overstatement. The stuff does happen, but there's very little interesting. There's supposedly a mystery to this story, but honestly, it's disappointing. It's the plot sees this young girl called Iris arrive at a school, and where she's given a red bow in her hair. That's actually a nice detail I like. There's 7 girls per house, and there's about 5 houses, so there's about 35 girls at a time, give or take. And they each wear a coloured ribbon in their hair, or coloured ribbons, I should say, in their hair. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and 2 shades of purple, indigo and violet, each going up in age, from youngest to oldest, with violet being the oldest. So Iris, the youngest, gets a red ribbon, although the orange ribbon girl, the former red ribbon, seems to dislike her. And there is parts of the parts in the earlier half of the film where the girl with orange bows, ribbons, doesn't like her. She doesn't like Iris. She resents her. There's not really much reasoning to that. So yeah, that's never said. Apart from maybe she's jealous, but that's about it. That's all I can think. So Iris gets brought to this school. There's not really much backstory to her besides the fact she had a brother, a slightly younger brother, perhaps, and she's not going to see him again. But there's not really any information about where she came from, what happened, why she's here, why anyone's here for that matter. And each of these girls are taught ballet and dance by 2 teachers. One of them, Marion Cotillard, who viewers of these reviews may remember from The Dark Knight Rises. And she's been in a couple of other films in the last few years, such as the 2015 Macbeth, and also a film called Allied, which is a film about Cotillard being potentially a German spy. I've not seen those 2 films, but I have seen The Dark Knight Rises. She's also in Inception, which I will probably check out at a later date. But yeah, she's the only name I know from this lot. But there's only really 2 prominent main characters, and only a few other, adult characters, and a few other adult characters making appearances. Mostly females, well, mostly women and girls. There's a couple of male characters, but more so towards the end. And yeah, the film's setting up a mystery. It's trying to build the mystery of where is this school, what's it about, why is it hidden away, what's the rules, why is it forbidden to go over the wall, why is it forbidden to do all these other things. And the film literally does not answer anything. The big mystery revolving the violet-coloured ribbon girls, which starts throughout the film. Oh, where's Bianca, the eldest girl of the 7 girls that, of the house Iris is in? Where does she go at night? What does she do? Turns out it's a ballet show when she takes Indigo, ribbon girl, who will be her successor as the next Violet. They go and it turns out to be putting on secret shows for the school, and I mean ballet dance to just people paying to see the show, and that's how the school makes it hits money. That's the big reveal. And once the girls are done, once they've grown up and they leave the school, as we'll see at the end, they just leave and they end up at potentially another school, possibly, where they are mixed gender school for maybe it's secondary school. So what is even the point of this secluded school in the woods, which is basically it's a girls' boarding school where they learn dance and evolution, and that's it. I can understand the school wanting to keep the girls safe from nasty stuff from the outside world, but it's treated so much like a big secret, a big mystery. It's like you're wondering, what is their real intent? What are they doing to these girls? What is it? It's like you're thinking this could be like it could be a horror film. It's not. It's a drama mystery. Mystery. Yeah. Yeah. You've got all these questions, but the revelations is just it's a normal dance school, except they board and they've got these specific rules, and it's in the middle of nowhere, and they didn't really have a conventional way in and out. Yeah, so what is the point of making it a big bloody mystery if the revelations are so disappointing? Going in, I didn't really know anything about the film, but from what the description, I was expecting maybe some sort of darker purposes. Perhaps maybe when girls disappear and stuff happens to them, and these girls have to fight their way out or stop the villains. But I was expecting that, but turns out it's a little more disappointing and mundane. I mean, I don't mind a third act twist or a half or midway through the film twist, but it wasn't really built up very well. And the mystery itself isn't really that good. I mean, I was just waiting for it to happen, just waiting for stuff to happen. It's also very slow. Not much is going on. They don't even. I mean, start of the film, you can start to see the lives of the girls at the school, but it gets very draggy very quickly. Nothing happens for about 5-6 minutes. About 6 to 6.5 minutes in, we finally get the first shot of 6 of the girls with finding Iris's coffin. That's another thing. They arrive at the school in coffins. What's that all about? By the way, the girl at the very end, the new girl who comes in, who will be the new red ribbon girl, I presume. She's very happy to be there. She's very happy to arrive. Really putting an exhibition on there. It's strange. If the school has no reason to be so mysterious, why is it mysterious? If it was just a normal boarding ballet school, it would with the normal lessons like science and English on the side, then yes, that would make a lot of sense. But it just feels like a big mystery, and yeah, it feels like it's an off the grid system. Feels like it's an illegal school, perhaps, and the teachers have some or the people in running it have an ulterior motive. By the way, there's only 2 prominent teachers and a handful of staff at a school with 35 girls, or presumably 35 if there's 7 per house and there's 5 houses, and so at most there'd be about 35. So there's only 2 teachers running 2 classes and only a handful of staff. It's maybe not even that many staff even. It's questionable. If it builds on the mystery a bit, but the mystery is ultimately disappointing, and the film just drags and drags. It does try to move the story along with plot points for other girls, not just Iris, but also for a blue ribboned girl. So basically, the third eldest and other blue ribbon girls taking part in this dance thing. And when the one we're focusing on, Alice from House 3, this is House 3 lot, she doesn't get chosen to go with the headmistress for an early, I don't know what they're doing, maybe it's early release, I don't know. Third eldest get early release if they get chosen. Otherwise, they have to wait till they're the eldest ones and they finish their final year or something. And then Alice just faints, and this has done well for a bit, and then she decides to run away and manages to escape. I actually thought she was going to die, because there was actually another girl who tried to escape by the boat, and then in the storm she got killed, and they had a funeral. Wonder if her family got told. I thought she died because she was trying to escape, but as it turns out, there's no ulterior motive behind everything, so presumably she just died in the storm. And Alice, that was Laura, another youngest student. So one with red ribbon, and Alice just manages to escape. She climbs the wall, which supposedly is made out to be impossible, but she manages it without much problem. She even jumps off it onto the other side and doesn't break any leg bones. She doesn't break a leg or twist an ankle or anything. She's fine, and then she just goes into the woods, and that's the end of her. She just goes away. I was actually expecting her to die, or get seriously badly hurt, or say something to someone who didn't know the school's existence and they become aware of it or something. But no, she's just gone. Okay, and then and then the next plot point is Indigo Ribbon Girl getting ready to, I think it's Nida, getting ready to being shown what Violet Bianca does, Violet Ribbon Girl Bianca does, not being certain if she can handle it, and then getting on to, and then eventually moving on up. Although this storyline does get a little glossed over as we move on to Bianca's story to wrap it up, and as she leaves the school and her final few days. Do you have to say, considering all these storylines with Red Ribbon Girl, Blue Ribbon Girl, Indigo and Ribbon Girl, Violet Ribbon Girl, and a little bit of stuff to do for Orange Ribbon Girl, Yellow and Green do absolutely nothing, especially Yellow. Yellow has hardly anything to do. Green has to look after the kid, the younger three, where after Blue goes and Indigo goes with Violet for the dance stuff. That's basically what it is, at the nighttime dance for the public or whatever. So Green has a little bit of a carer duty that night, and any other nights where Violet and Indigo are both out. But that's about it for her, and Yellow has hardly anything. So, no, literally nothing. I also have to mention the two teachers, Marion Cotillard and another lady. They both do really well. To start with, I thought the other lady was going to be the nicer one, and Marion Cotillard's one was going to be a bit of a not so very nice character, but it turns out it's more the other way round. Cotillard's character is the nicer one, and the other one is not very nice. But yeah, again, it feels like there's some sort of ulterior motive behind them. There feels like there's something else going on, and it's just business as usual, I guess, for them. Apart from the occasional stuff that happens, and yeah, it's just strange. I don't understand why this secret dance school is a secret. I can understand them having maybe big security measures if they want to keep the girls safe, but why does everything else need to be a secret? Why do they have to hide themselves? Why do they have these big secrets? Why don't they just outright explain to the girls why they can't leave? They're not allowed to leave. They're on school premises. You can't leave apart from at the holidays, and even then, it looks like they're here forever. And the way they arrive and why they're even here in the first place. I mean, I don't know if Iris's parents chose for her to go to this school. Did they just find her on the road and decide, oh, she'd be a good student here, let's bring her in and give her some dancing lessons, and then we'll work our way from there? It's just the concept. It feels like there's something, it should be some sort of bigger mystery, but the revelations are so mundane, and it's not even the case it's a normal dance school, because they've been making it so mysterious and having all these rules and just so mystery setty-uppy. And then when the revelation comes, it's mundane. If it was just a normal dance school with tighter restrictions on security, then it would probably make a lot of more sense. But no, it has to be a big secret, a big mystery. And even from the students. And it just feels like it's hiding something deeper. Maybe they secretly killed the girls who tried to escape. Maybe they secretly turned them into vampires. They were examining the necks, after all. Maybe I don't know, something, do some sort of satanic cult, something mysterious, anything mysterious. Doesn't have to be horror related. Could be anything mysterious. Because I thought it was going to be some sort of horror, but no, it's just not. It's just a mystery, and not even a very good one at that, because of the revelations are just dull. You're setting yourself up for something big. You're setting yourself up for something shocking. Not necessarily scary, but shocking. But nothing, no, it's just a normal dance school. And when the oldest girls finish up, they just leave and go somewhere else, which is not really explained where they go and what they do. We just see them splashing around in the fountain. So what is the point? As for how it looks, well, there is some good cinematography, but it's a mixed bag there as well, because we got some good, got quite a bit of good shots, but we get so many just standstill shots of locations or objects just for a couple of seconds that just last ages. And some shots feel like they haven't finished, like the bonfire, the cremation of Laura, the one of the red ribbon girls, the one that befriends Iris, with her funeral. It feels like that scene is half done before it cuts to a shot of one of the houses, and that shot goes on for a few seconds more than it needed to, and it's just shots of place stuff. Usually, some places inside the school just take ages. I say take ages, take longer than they need to. I think a few seconds each shot would be fine. Not so much to make it like a montage or anything, but the way this one's done it is just really a bit too long. They outstay their welcome. And like I said, between the earlier on, before we see the characters, there's just lots of shots of inside school. You're again building up the mystery of what's happening here, what's going on, but it's not that interesting. And editing is, the cinematography outside of those shots with other shots is fairly decent, but I wouldn't say this is spectacular cinematography, apart from the fact it's keeping the camera still. But even then, when we got some shots, when got some characters in shot, and then Bianca's on the floor after falling off a swing towards the end. She's on the floor, some characters are standing around her, and then she gets up, and I'm thinking, pan up. We're now just seeing the legs and the bottom of the torsos. Pan up. We can't see their faces. Can't see the tops. Pan up. So some of the shot, I think maybe having the shots are too still in places. It's good that they're not shaky cam, which is a personal good thing, but there's too many still shots. I think they relied too much on still shots in this film. They could have had a few more. Maybe they could have had a few handhelds, not whizzy all over the shot, shaky cam like in action films, like in the Bourne films, but maybe some camera shots to move between reactions, or maybe just move the handle on the tripod, or whatever the camera's on top of, just to pan it a little bit, especially in that scene I just described with Bianca on the floor. Yeah. Also have to query about whether they're allowed to film under 18 girls with their clothes off. Just querying that, because there is quite a few shots of under 18 girls naked or with part clothing off. I'm guessing that's why it's a 15 rated film. I'm guessing that's why, especially as there is a shot of Bianca where because most of the girls, especially the younger ones, don't really have much to show. But when you get to older ones like Bianca, when they're coming into their puberty stages, then there is a little bit of something to see. So I'm wondering if that's why the film's a 15 over here in the UK, because apart from that, there is literally nothing to say this is a 15. This film could pass if the girls were wearing swimsuits, some of them actually are, but if the girls were clothed or wearing swimsuits, if there was very little nudity, this film would probably be a U, maybe a PG for the more intense scenes, like Laura's death. But apart from that, I think this film would have been fine at U or PG, minus the nudity, which I can understand why being a 15, although there isn't a huge amount of it. So I think 12 could have been fine, unless 12, 13, and 14-year-old minds wouldn't be allowed to see such a thing. In fact, I'm even querying if it's okay for it even being filmed in the first place. So the minors, technically, I don't know about France, but definitely in the UK and the US. Don't know if this film got to the US, to be honest. Definitely UK, because it was partly founded by the UK Film Council, for some reason. But yeah, definitely in the UK, they would be minors. So I'm querying. Maybe they got parental permission. Maybe it's because if the younger ones they're not having too much to show, it's not too bad, and it's more for the older ones they have to be careful with. But that's just a query. Also, I'm not really a big fan of the music. And in the titles, it's just gold text on a black background, and there's very little music, and there's very little to build it up. I have heard that the film Clone or Womb outside the UK has just blank credits, maybe white credits on a black background for 2 minutes, and then just enough black for about a minute. So it's better than that, from what I've heard. But still, it's not very. Could have had at least a bit of music in here, and also in other scenes you got this lots of sound, wind usually, just sort of building up something, like building up the mystery, and then just cuts to another scene and it's just cuts to quiet, or just cuts to what's happening there. Again, building up the mystery stuff, but the problem is this mystery doesn't relate, it doesn't end well. The revelations are boring, and don't make a lot. The revelations are bad because it feels like there's this big, giant, overarching mystery. There seems to be an ulterior motive. The teachers, the adults, there's something, maybe even the older students if they're in on it. Maybe there's something going on. Maybe there's something else going on. And anyone who tries to leave dies. But that's not the case. It's just a highly security boarding school for girls who are learning to dance. Practice, basically, and that's about it. And they just arrive and depart in very strange ways. Although I did like the fact that they went by train, their own secret underground train. Points for that at the very end. But it feels like you were setting up something different. There wasn't really anything hinting to anything, but, you know, fair enough. If there was going to be some sort of surprise, then makes sense. They didn't really set up very well the actual revelation, but if it was some sort of ulterior motive, like in Suspiria with, they were setting up a mystery there, and this actually has quite a lot of similarities to Suspiria, where Hugo enters this dance school, basically, a ballet school, finds out some weird stuff going on, goes along with it for a bit. It's a couple of unexplained deaths or occurrences on the outside, and it seems like demons, but it turns out to be witches. And then the girl, after talking to this guy on the outside, and also after her friend's killed, she goes along and discovers the revelation, and eventually is able to stop the main witch behind it all, and basically just leaves them to their fate. Basically, no other students are harmed during that bit, as they're all out. The ones that were still alive anyway. So I reviewed that one back at the end towards the end of 2018 in about March time. So go check that review out. But yeah, there's similarities to that film. But here it's just you've got the setting for a big mystery where you've got this surprise reveal that maybe they're a part of a satanic cult. Maybe they're converting the girls into something. Maybe they're something, like I said, going away from horror genre. Maybe they're sexual predators. Perhaps, maybe they've kidnapped these girls and they're forcing them to do ballet stuff so that they can then be sold as dancers on the black market into slavery or something. Just as a possibility of what a non-horror mystery reveal could have been. Or maybe they'd be chopped up and served as meat. I don't know, something mysterious, something that would lead Iris and or the other girls to investigate and uncover and eventually expose and defeat. Instead, what we get is, it's basically secret dances at night to people funding the school by coming to see the shows, and it's just very tight security at this boarding dance school. And that's about it. Whoopity-doo-dah. We sat through it was about an hour and 20, just over an hour and 20 minutes before we got to the whole thing about it being a dance school, sort of dancing to the public. About an hour and 20 to 25 minutes in, it took 80 to 85 minutes of a film that's nearly 2 hours, about 94 minutes, give or take. It's on the video. It was 94 to 95 minutes. No, sorry, no, not 94 to 95. 114 to 115. It took 80 to 85 minutes of a 114 to 115 minute long film till we got to that bit. And, you know, having the revelation towards the end, or in the start of the third act, makes a lot of sense. It's usually around that point to an hour and a half into a 2-hour film that you'd start to get information. You start to get mysteries revealed. You start to learn stuff. Maybe it's a bit early for the big revelation, but it's where you start learning some information that you didn't know earlier. But alas, it's just not that a good reveal. Fair enough if this story wants to build up a mystery to it's just secret dances for the older students. In that case, actually build that bit up at the very least. If you're going to do that, at least build it up. At least make it sound like it's a big deal for the older students that they've got to do this thing and it's a big deal. Otherwise, the school's at risk. Some sort of build up to that, but no. So it doesn't work either on a big revelation, nor does it work on a build up the mystery sense. It's just mystery boxing for the sake of it, and when we get to the revelation, it's not interesting. And with just over half an hour of the film, there's just still more uninteresting stuff going along. Even the character interactions aren't that great. So, on the whole, Innocence is a extremely disappointing film, and I mean, it's not badly made. I mean, it's pretty good, but I think there could have been. I mean, cinematography is pretty good. I think there could have been a bit more moving shots, but it's still pretty good. I think editing could have been handled a bit better. But on the whole, Innocence it's not great. It's really not great, and I'm not saying it's not great because it's a foreign film. It's not from the UK or the US. It's from France. I'm not saying it's a bad film because it's from France. I mean, I have reviewed some weaker films. They're not from the from the UK or the US, Umberto D and Cleo from 9 to 5. But that doesn't mean because they're from another country doesn't automatically mean they're bad. I reviewed, again, around the time of Suspiria, I reviewed a film called Hero from China. That film was fucking awesome. Yeah, it was a martial arts film, and I'm more of an action person, but it was still fucking awesome. It doesn't matter the genre, it was still fucking awesome. So, yeah, we got another French film, a documentary called Nudity coming up. We'll see what that's like, and another foreign film, Snowpiercer, that's coming up. We'll see what those are like. I'm sure I've done other films from other countries before as well. Possibly, I'm not sure. But just because it's from France doesn't mean I'm either going to automatically hate it or I'm automatically going to give it a free pass. Because it's not from the UK or the US. No, it can be judged on just the same levels as a US or UK film. It might even be part UK, to be honest, because of the Film Council. But yeah, Innocence is just a massive disappointment. So I'm going to be giving Innocence 2004 a 4 out of 10. With a 5. I was actually saying it right in this review, and you can check it out in the bloopers, but then I decided to change my mind because the plot's shit. That's basically it. The plot is shit. No matter how great the cinematography is, and even then I have my issues with that, no matter how good it's edited, well, again, issues there. No, the acting's good. I like the acting, but no matter how good the acting is, and no matter how good they try to make it look, the plot's shit. The plot is shit. Fair and simple. The mystery could have been either done better revealed, or be something completely different, or just don't bother making it a mystery. Just say, hey, it's a girls' ballet school. It's just got a big wall around it, and there's specific ways in and out that, so that people can't just come in and out whenever they feel like it. And the older students have do these ballets for public to come and see, and which funds the school, and then at the end they go off into the real world, and they acquire new students the usual way, and not through the creepy way of bringing them in coffins for some reason, which is actually never explained. There's actually a couple of stuff that doesn't get explained. So, Innocence. It's not a very good film. Next film in the theorizing spectatorship module of my university, because this is for my theorizing spectatorship module, and this is the 4th film we're watching, and this DVD's from the university library. Next one will be Gravity, which I actually have on Blu-ray downstairs. I just haven't brought it up. But yeah, that'll be next, Gravity. I'm looking forward to that one. As for next film on this channel, next review on this channel, hoping to see some Doctor Who's later, we'll see. But Series 2s, we'll see. But definitely for films, I think I'm going to try and watch Lupin III, the Castle of Calrissian, the 1979 one, tomorrow, hopefully, maybe, and hope we'll get that review soon. Hopefully that will be way more positive than this. I'm expecting 10 out of 10 because I've heard a lot of good stuff about that, and it's Lupin III, which I recently got, November, I got into and really like a lot, so I'm expecting to like the one that's considered the most popular one, not just film, most popular of the series, full stop. I'm expecting good things. So hopefully I'm predicting it to be way better than Innocence, at least. Also, I could probably check out the next 3 feature films of the Lupin series on YouTube in English dub. Not sure about the first one. I don't think I'll be able to check the first one out just yet. And yeah, that's not even the whole series after 4 or 5 films. That's not even the whole series. But I could definitely check out Castle Calrissian tomorrow, maybe. And maybe the next on Box of Broadcasts, and the next 3 on YouTube at later points. But the first one and any further ones, not so much. And Doctor Who reviews, if those are coming up, those should be the next 2 or 3 episodes of Series 2, Tooth and Claw School Reunion and Going in the Fireplace. Just be on the lookout for some of those. Hopefully, fingers crossed if all goes well, maybe if this review doesn't take forever to edit. Anyway, that's it from me. Thank you for watching this review / actually, I think it did become a rant. I wasn't certain if it was going to become a rant before I started, that's why I didn't say anything, but I think it is a bit of a rant. So, thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye. Don't forget to click below to subscribe to the official Nicholas Payne Retro YouTube channel. And this Nazi film, about German, and Allied, which is a film about Goslar. And it's not even just a normal dance school. It's just flat out. It's not whizzy all over the place stuff like in some action films. I wonder where they're born for. I mean, it's better than nothing, I suppose, but it's at least it's trying to. No, it's trash. I had just I'm just trying to give a possibility. It's a big disappointment, and you know, if a story like this wants to be told, fair, and with just over half an hour to go of the film, we just not more. It's not. So I will be giving this film, I've decided to give it a 5 out of 10 because there are some good points. The cinematography is pretty good and the acting is actually really good, to be honest. But the plot itself it sucks, it drags. The mystery build-up doesn't really work and the revelations are shit. So Innocence from 2004 is getting a 5 out of 10. Yep, so... yeah, it's not that great. It's got its moments. It's not terrible. It's okay. I would say it's good, But I think maybe if the editing was a bit better, then I would say good, minus the fact that the whole story is pretty shit. Yeah, the plot shit. Yeah. You know, actually, no, I'm changing my mind. That's it from me. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.